morning, everybody. It's Jean here, Jean True Love from True Love Quilts for You. I hope you are well today. I'm going to get right into it. I have received quite a few entries or submissions for my True Love Quilting Challenge. People have also sent me pictures of their projects. As you know, I'm not doing a lot of quilting lately because of our situation, but I've asked people to send me photographs of projects made from some of my tutorials that I have made in the past. That will be a separate video. I've gotten quite a few of them. I really believe, I call that sharing is caring. I really believe that in this community, as my channel has taken a little bit of a slightly different turn because of the situation we find ourselves in temporary accommodation here. Again, you know I'm not doing a tremendous amount of quilting, a lot of sewing. However, in the next few videos, I will have a tutorial coming up. I put my thinking cap on. I've done something similar to what I had done before. I had done a sewing squares together with sashing. I got my quilt back, which I will be showing you later. And I'm going to be doing something with 10-inch squares, a pack of 10-inch squares and a bit of yardage. That is to come. I know a lot of you want to see me quilt, want to see me sew, but for now, what we're doing is sharing what other people are quilting and what other people are sewing. Again, if you're new here, very quickly, I had back in November, October, had put a challenge, not a contest at all, a challenge for about the next 6 months, which is up in the middle of March, to challenge yourself to make something with fabrics that I've chosen. Fabrics that you probably in never a million years would have chosen. These, again, I'll put the picture up. These are the 6 fabrics that I've chosen. About a dozen or so True Love Challenge quilts that have been sent into me. The sort of the rules are there, just a small quilt, and you had to use at least 5 of these 6 fabrics. And without further ado, I'm going to be showing you, after I read the little stories of what people have sent me, I'll be showing you their actual quilts. The first one I'm doing this in order that I get them. So if you are tuning in and you have sent me in a picture, and I'm not mentioning it, I'm getting them in the order again. And I will be getting to you. I have quite a few here. I thought I'll only do 3 or 4 to make this short, but just sharing, just a few minutes to share what other people have done. This is from Leslie. Highlighted. Dear Jean, the True Love Challenge quilt was certainly a challenge for me. The only true quilts I really made were 2 of your quote-alongs. As you, I don't do math. I did have a theme in mind when I started. I wanted to do a house block in the center and then flower and flower baskets all around. But I only wanted to do 12-inch blocks to make it easy. Well, that's not what happened. I ended up with 5 different block sizes. 2 blocks with origami flowers, 5 paper piece and quilt blocks, which I've never done. Oh my goodness. And of course, you can't have a True Love Quilt Challenge without a True Love Quilt heart block heart. That was my first paper piece block. This quilt measures 49 by 42, which is not the exact measurements. You will get marked down on that. Again, I'm doing a report card, and that's for a lark, that's for fun at the end of this. I'm certainly not a quilt judge, and I hope nobody takes umbrage at my judging, but there were certain little things that if I can see on a photograph, again, I'm not a quilt judge, but you'll be getting your report card. And again, I always say all of you will be getting A+. The quote ended up for me, the things that represent and bring peace and contentment and happiness in my life. I lived in Florida for a long time, therefore I have a hibiscus flower, seashell, palm tree. The dog represents the 2 American Eskimos that I have loved and loved dearly. The large 12-inch tree block is and the 12-inch tree block is actually named redwood trees, and the one in the opposite corner is the representation of the mountains where I live now in California. Where my husband and I go camping in our small travel trailer, several flower blocks. The houses in the middle represents family and home. And of course, not least is my Bible book. I had no idea how to quilt this, so each block is really quilted individually. I started out stitching in the ditch, but then I decided that some of the blocks needed more quilting. At the same time, I didn't want to do that to my paper piece blocks. There's so much more work. Am I crazy or what? each block, but the Bible has fabric from the challenge in it. I'm glad I did this challenge because I learned quite a bit trying to make different size blocks work together. I really like my confetti border that I learned from someone else on YouTube. Leslie, I still have not quilted the Dear Jean quilt yet. I have no confidence in my ability to do free motion quilting. You certainly have confidence to put yourself out there, though, and make this lovely, lovely quilt. And again, without further ado, here is Leslie's quilt. Fabulous job, Leslie. All of those different sizes and all of what represents it to you. What a beautiful challenge that was. But at the end of the day, a real work of art from your heart. Just super. That's what this was all about. My quilting challenge. This one, the next one, is from Carol Lawrence. This is awesome. Dear Jean, you're an amazing woman. Oh, thank you for saying that. I'm so not, but thank you for saying it. I've watched all your YouTube videos at least twice. I enjoyed listening to you bring knowledge and laughter into the sewing room. Thank you. We just have fun, don't we? I always say life is so hard. Our quilting shouldn't be. You know, like even a challenge. My friend Jen started this. She's like, challenge. And I challenged myself with my zebra quilt, as you've seen in other ones. She challenged herself with collage. And the word challenge may make some people go, oh, I don't want to do that. But it really was, for the people that have done this, really an expression in the times we live in of like channeling our inner creativity. It sounds like me, you know, like all airy-fairy, but we're having fun. I wanted to participate in your Dear Jean quilt, but isn't it, life's challenges interceded and it didn't happen. Isn't that funny? So when you announced this challenge, I found the time and inspiration to tackle it. I didn't really, I had printed this out a while ago. That's so funny. I used 6 of your fabrics and 3 of my own. Oh, you're allowed to use all 6. You have to use 5 and then embellish the quilt with your own fabrics, of course. I took your Dear Jean blocks and used the new fabrics. You notice there's absolutely no place to rest the eyes. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's also the wrong size. I have dyslexia sometimes when reading numbers. The quilt measures 30 by 45. I said 35 by 40. Isn't that funny? That's so funny. I am not funny that you have dyslexia. That's not funny. But funny that you got the things wrong. I am pleased with the piecing and quilting, but the binding is the best of the 3. I took the time to attach on the back by hand. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Carol. You get an A+ for that. Thank you again, Jean, for all your ideas. I'm so glad I found it. This is an awesome quilt. I see some of my blocks and I see the Dresden plate. Fantastic, Carol. Thank you so much. Here are Carol's pictures. quilt is from Cindy. Cindy, you know who you are. Dear Jean, I hope you're all well. I'm sorry to hear of all your troubles with your home. Yeah, so are we. But we're okay. We're fine. And everything, my prayers are with you and your family. We have so many prayers that every day is fine. It's okay. But I almost didn't send my pictures for my quilt because I had a lot of trouble with the quilting part. I haven't quilted much on my machine, and I've always tied my quilts. So I had a lot of puckering. Who cares? Awesome. I felt like I was going to throw my little quilt away, but I decided that I would finish. Now that in itself is an accomplishment, a challenge. I have, unfortunately, in the past, I've thrown away 2 quilts that I was disappointed with. One, I think about it, I shudder. I shudder. Because when I think about it, it was really super. I had done a tremendous amount of machine embroidery on it, and it was an Asian theme. And for some reason, it wasn't working right. And I was maybe 3/4 way done, and it was a decent sized quilt. And I was not in a good place, and I threw it away. Our son Elliot came, about a year ago, and he said, where's that quilt so-and-so that I was making? This was in our old house. And I had to fess up. I said, I threw it away. They were appalled. My family was appalled. Like, what? So if you ever feel that way, you put the quilt away. Come back to it 2 years later, and you'll go, and you're in a different place in your head, and you'll see something different, and you can pick it up and you can finish it. So I'm very proud of you, Cindy. Bad me. I threw mine away. So I sent it out. I sent it out today. It's not any fabrics that I would ever choose, but they're so bright and cheery, made me feel good. I really ended up liking it. I've been home since I battled cancer. This gave me something different to do. Oh, Cindy, I want to thank you so much that I used my favorite pattern when I saw it, and I love the pattern. I use it a lot. I would have never picked a stripe, but I decided to put it on the binding like you say. I like it, and I surprised myself. If you're stuck for binding ideas, use a stripe. It'll bring some zing to your quilt no matter what your quilt looks like. I love my stripe binding. I would have made my binding a little bit wider. I didn't have enough fabric. So it is what it is. I hope you like it. I love it. It's absolutely awesome. Thank you much again. It has given me something to do in these cold days in Iowa. Love, Cindy. Cindy, you're... Cindy, your quilt is beautiful, but the fact that you finished it, the fact that you're battling cancer, my word, you get an A+, A+, A+. And the last one I'm going to do today is from Shelley. Shelley, you know who you are. I am just so impressed with this lovely, beautiful quilt that you made because, again, it's so personalized, as all of them are. You've challenged yourself, and yet you've taken something, and I think, Shelley, you've made a real heirloom, as you other lovely quilters have done. Shelley has said, this is a painting that my husband's grandmother did. I'll put the picture of the painting up, and then I'll put the picture of her quilt. Her grandmother... Her husband's grandmother did it probably in the 1950s or 60s. It was the inspiration for my quilt. The quilt measures 36 by 42. That's pretty darn good. It was my first attempt at raw edge applique and thread painting. It was quilted on my long arm without rulers or robotics. What's a robotic on a long arm machine? Does that mean like a computer generated thing? I guess that's what it means. But you did this yourself. Fantastic. Your fabric choices made me think of the umbrellas. You'll see these, folks. Oh my word. And when I found the background fabric, it all clicked. I look forward to your comments. Wow, Shelley, my comments are out of this world. Fantastic inspiration. It's just absolutely beautiful. Your husband's grandmother would be absolutely thrilled to the moon and back with this quilt. It's absolutely super and fantastic, like all the other ones are. So thank you so very much, everybody. I do have a couple others. Again, I'm doing these in the order that I'm getting them in. I really appreciate it. And again, please excuse my report carding. I am no quilt judge. It's just for fun. As I said, all of you get A+. Absolutely. Every one of you go to the head of the class because you did this, you challenged yourself, and you've shared it with us. This lovely quilting community that we find ourselves in. So I hope you've enjoyed this, folks. Send in your pictures of the projects you've done, truelovequiltsforyou@gmail.com, and I will get to them. I have a few waiting, and I do have a tutorial coming up as soon as I get my fabric. That's a long story, but as soon as I get my fabric, and I'm going to show you my quilt that I have gotten back from, I had actually sent it out to a long arm quilter. I will be showing you that my next video, hopefully, and what I'm doing with it. All right, folks. Again, thank you for your love and your prayers. And as always, love from the True Loves. Bye.